If you're a busy woman dealing with gut symptoms like bloating, constipation, diarrhea, or IBS, and you're tired of spending hours trying to figure out what to plan that doesn't upset your stomach, then keep watching. This video is for you. If you're struggling to find time to plan meals that actually support your gut health, or feel overwhelmed by all the options out there, and believe me, there are a lot of options, and you're just not sure where to start, keep watching, because in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I plan gut-friendly meals each week in just 5 minutes or less. Plus, I'll share some of my favorite tips and tricks to make it even easier for you. So I'm Erin Harner, I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, and I am a gut health specialist. I've helped countless women create simple, effective meal plans that don't trigger their symptoms. And today, I'm going to help you do the same. So all in just a few minutes. So by the end of this video, you'll have a step-by-step process for planning meals quickly and confidently without the stress. Ready to transform your meal planning game? All right, let's get started. So first thing you're gonna do is you're going to open the refrigerator. Look in the fridge and see what you have. I encourage you to actually write this down. So get a piece of paper, get a tablet, get a note, whatever you wanna use, and write this down. What do you have in the fridge that you wanna use up? Next, open up your pantry. See where all of your dry goods are. What do you have that you want to eat or that you want to use up? So by first inventorying what you already have that you want to use up, this is going to prevent food waste. It's going to prevent you from throwing away ingredients that you purchased that you haven't used. And it's going to save you a lot of time and money because you don't need to buy those things. You already have them. Next, you're going to check and see what's going on this week. So do the kids have soccer practice on Tuesday and Thursday night that you're not going to be home for dinner and you need to pack a picnic? Do you have a work event and you're going to be eating out that evening? Do you have a trip planned and you're going to be gone for the weekend? It's really important to know what's happening so you know where you're going to be and how much time you have to create those meals. Next up, you're going to write down the meals you want to make. And I promise this is super simple. Let's not overcomplicate it, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of paper, a dry erase board that's on the refrigerator. You're going to take an index card, a note in your phone that you share with the rest of your family, whatever you want to do. But there's a couple rules here. Keep it simple and make sure everybody in your family knows what's for dinner. Or if you're going to have other meals planned as well, like breakfast or lunch, make sure everybody knows what's on the schedule. So to do that, you really need to post them somewhere that people are going to see them. All you're going to do is you're going to write down the meals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or however many dinners that you need for the week. You're going to just make a list and you're simply going to write down what you're having. Don't make it any more complicated than this. It needs to be really, really simple. So let me show you what I mean. If you're okay with us keeping it simple, we're simply going to make a list. We're going to write down meals this week. This week, I know my family needs 5 meals because on Wednesday, we're going to be out. And on Sunday, we have something planned and we're not going to be out. So we don't need dinners those nights. So I'm simply going to make meals for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. One way to do it is to simply write down the meals you want to make. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take everything that you don't have in your refrigerator or in your pantry or already at home, and you're going to put those on your grocery list. If you're wondering what to put in the meals that you're planning, let's figure it out together. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make yourself a meal plan guide or a template. We're going to draw a circle, and we're going to put up here, we're going to write protein. Down here, we're going to write carbs. And I like to qualify this by saying high fiber carbs. Forgive my poor writing on this. And over here, we're going to write veggies. Now we're going to make a list of all the things that you and your family can eat that don't give you symptoms, that make you feel good and energized and are wholesome and healthy around this circle. And this is going to be a guide or a template to make this really easy to plan meals. So up here in the protein category, just as an example, I'm going to write chicken, I'm going to write salmon, eggs, and tofu. I'm just using this as an example. If these things don't work for you, write the things that fall into the protein category that work for you, that make you feel good. Down here, I'm going to write sweet potatoes. We're looking for high fiber carbs. So these could be vegetables, starchy vegetables. Winter squash would certainly fall here. We can also do whole grains, things like brown rice or quinoa. And this is just an example. You can do this on a computer to clean it up and make it really easy and pretty. This is just a simple, quick and dirty way to plan meals in 5 minutes that makes it really simple so that you get meals that your whole family can eat and are healthy for you and good for your gut. Over here, we're going to do non-starchy vegetables. So when we're talking about non-starchy vegetables, we're thinking about things like spinach or carrots, peppers, cucumbers, and the list goes on and on and on, but we'll just leave it at that. Over here in the high fiber carb category, that's also where our fruit's going to fall. So we could put things like blueberries, apple, etc. Just keep in mind, you want to make sure that the things work for you. So if you can't do apples because they're high in certain FODMAPs, leave the apples off and put things that do work for you. Blueberries and berries usually work really well for most people. You could do bananas here, right? Lots of different options. So now what we're going to do is just simply take these items and transfer them to our meal plan. We're going to kind of do a little mix and match situation. So when we're thinking about protein, whether you're an adult or a child, you want to think about using your hand. So 1 serving of protein is the size of the palm of your hand. So I'm going to put palm, 1 palm of protein. Next up, we're going to do 1 fist of carbs, whatever serving that is. Like think about a medium-sized apple or a potato, or like depending on the size of your sweet potato, like maybe 3/4 of a sweet potato. That would be a serving of carbs. And it depends, right? How big your body is, what your activity level is. This is just a good starting place. Over on the left-hand side, we're going to do vegetables. These are non-starchy vegetables. And this is going to be typically the open hands of 2 palms, like two open hands like this, if it's like leafy greens, something like a salad, or like 1 handful of some other vegetable. And because we're trying to fill half your plate with vegetables, typically this looks like 2 of those things. So that could be like a small spinach salad with some steamed carrots, or it could be a vegetable soup, or it could be, peppers and like a stir fry, right? Lots of different options here. You just need to mix and match based on what works for you and your gut. So over here, we're gonna transfer these to our meals. And I'm gonna bring in another tip here because this is really, really helpful. So when you're thinking about planning meals for the week, I really like to have theme nights. So in our house, typically it makes it really easy because Monday, let's just go with Meatless Monday. So if we're gonna do Meatless Monday, what can we do that doesn't have any animal-based protein in it or meat? Let's try, how about some tofu? We're gonna do, how about a stir fry? So lots of different vegetables that work for us. Easy for the kids to pick out if they don't like the big chunks of different vegetables, no problem. And then we're gonna put that over brown rice. And you're wondering, where does the fat come in, right? So one thing that I left out of this is some fat. So we're gonna do about 1 thumb of fat. And that really varies depending on what you're having. So if I was doing a stir fry like tofu with brown rice, what I would do for fat is I would add a drizzle of sesame oil over the top when it was done cooking. Or you could sprinkle it with some peanuts or some other nuts as another option. Fat is important, but you don't want to overdo it, right? So 1 thumb of fat per meal is a really good rule of thumb. Next up, we're gonna do Tuesday, and we're gonna stick with Taco Tuesday. And my family, this also translates to Mexican, so any kind of Mexican is fair game. Let's stick with tacos. So we could do shells, we could do like corn shells would be an option, or corn tortillas. We could do some black beans. And if you're wondering where the heck do black beans fit, or legumes, they could actually fit in either of these categories. They kind of span both of them. We're gonna do some guacamole. We're gonna leave out the garlic and onion, right? Like lots of options here. And we just wanna make sure we hit all the categories. So what are our vegetables here? How about we do some lettuce or spinach if you can tolerate that. Otherwise do something sauteed. So it could be like sauteed peppers, for example, or maybe both. And then because we have the corn shells, we don't really need to make rice, but if you wanted to make rice, have a little bit of that, that's fine. Our fat is in the guacamole. We have all of our categories covered and we are good. If you wanted to include some sort of meat or protein there, you certainly could. But this is how you plan meals for the week. You keep it simple and you start with what you can eat comfortably without symptoms, and those things go over here. And if you're wondering, how the heck do I make meals my whole family will eat? Do this for your whole family. Not everybody is going to like certain things. Not everybody's going to have the same needs and preferences. But if you can deconstruct meals by making them either that the people can easily take things out, or maybe you make the same meal, but you just have 2 different protein options, So for this taco example, we could certainly have a black bean option, and we could have some bison or like ground beef, something like that. Bison's really lean, which is a great option. Grass-fed bison could be the other protein option. So if you can't tolerate beans, you could do the bison. If you don't like the bison, you could do the beans, right? So just make it so that everyone can eat the same meal without having to make a different meal for everyone in the household, because that gets really tiring and really frustrating. So just to continue with this theme, other themes that we like to use in our family are like Asian Wednesdays. So that could be Chinese, Japanese, it could be like sushi, it could be spring rolls, it could be a stir fry, it could be a Thai curry, anything from sort of that area of the world that we think is going to be delicious that week. Soup we typically do on Thursdays. We usually make a fresh loaf of gluten-free sourdough bread and have some soup for dinner. Really simple and easy. There's usually a lot going on Thursday nights. And then Friday night at my house is pizza night. Make homemade dough. Everybody gets to top their own pizza. It's really fun and easy. And then typically we have it with a salad or sometimes a soup in the winter time to go with it to add a bunch of extra vegetables. So theme nights can make it really easy. The other thing that I would strongly encourage you to do is think about how you can repurpose the meals that you've already thought of, right? This creative process only needs to happen like once or twice, and then you can just repurpose these things. So if you use Google Keep or you use a note on your phone or on your computer, what I would strongly encourage you to do is keep a running list of all of the meals that your family likes to eat. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And just make sure that they meet this criteria. Do they have a serving of protein? Do they have some high fiber carbohydrates? These are gut health superfoods. Do they have non-starchy vegetables? Do they have some fat? So that's the filter, that's the guide, and you're gonna base your meals upon that. And once you've thought of, 10 dinners, you just plug them into your meal plan. You don't have to redo this every single week. You just look at your list and say, what do we wanna make this week? Or if you're using theme nights, like I just shared, what you can do is you can have a number of different meals under each theme. Let's not make this complicated. Let's keep it simple. So when you look in your refrigerator on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Friday or whenever you look before you go shopping for the week, you want to be able to write down what you have, make a plan to use it up, and just go to town from there.